Now at 9, researchers dig up the past as they excavate a southeast Kansas site related to the Bloody Bender family. Plus, the City of Joplin's Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Group meets to discuss plans for a unity walk. And we'll check out a viewing of the Joplin tornado documentary, The Butterfly People, in honor of the event's anniversary.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. Joplin's Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Committee held a meeting this afternoon to discuss their plans for the upcoming Unity Walk to be held on June 3rd, Thursday. EDI's goal is to make sure everyone is included. KOAM's Fernanda Silva has the story.
In the past, I've had issues where I've definitely had to hush down a little bit of who I am as a person.
Tabitha Carter's personal experiences opened her eyes to challenges other people might deal with. But a group in Joplin is helping her expand her horizons even more.
I'm educated in things I didn't know previously about inclusion. So even though there are certain things that I face every day, I'm learning a lot about all different areas of inclusion and how I can be a better coworker, how I could be a better boss.
Joplin's Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Committee wants to make sure everyone is treated in the same way, regardless of their sexual orientation, gender identity, nationality, religion, or skin color.
The important part, of course, is to show all of the people coming from all over the world, all over the country, that we support you, your small business and your ventures and your families.
A lot of times people feel left out if they happen to look different or if they're differently abled. Anything that maybe separates them, that they feel separates, we have EDI to bring everyone together and to know that really it's as simple as you belong here.
The organization aims to be a safe place for people to share their feelings and show who they truly are.
We're not promoting any certain group over any other certain group. We are simply saying that if you're breathing, you belong. And it's really that simple.
For Colbert King, EDI's goal is to stitch a quilt out of Joplin.
A quilt is made up of a bunch of different squares that look different. Every one of them has different patterns, different squares, different whatever. But when they're all put together and you're stitched together, they make a beautiful quilt. That is diversity. That is what every city needs.
In Joplin, Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
EDI's Unity Walk on the third Thursday starts at 6 p.m. June 20th at 2nd and Main. You can find more information at KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, Chief Meteorologist Doug Eddy joins us now with a first look at weather.
Well, we had some scattered showers, even a few thunderstorms late morning into the early afternoon hours, and then pretty nice afternoon. 74 was our high, below our average high of 79 degrees for this time of the year. But if we go outside, looks pretty good. 64 in Joplin, 65 in Pittsburgh. A little bit on the cool side with a northeasterly wind. Most of us are sitting into the mid 60s. We'll drop back near 60 for us a little bit later on tonight. But we are going to get a few more showers, even a few thunderstorms popping up. You can see a couple little guys getting going just north of Branson. So these will kind of flare up into our region. Nothing too strong, nothing severe as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight. We'll slide back to about 61 degrees, back to 71 by 10 a.m. But more thunderstorms in the forecast. We're going to look at that here in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Doug. Today is the 13th anniversary of the 2011 Joplin tornado. 161 people were killed, thousands more injured, and thousands of homes destroyed. To this day, the Joplin tornado ranks as one of Missouri's and the United States' deadliest tornadoes. It also ranks as the costliest tornado in U.S. history, with $2.8 billion in damages. Well, moviegoers in Anderson, Missouri had the chance to take in The Butterfly People this evening at the Flick Theater. The hour-long documentary revisits the Joplin tornado, the aftermath, and the miraculous stories which followed concerning the intervention and protection of the butterfly people. For some, the documentary stands as a stark reminder of the devastation that struck the Joplin community.
I think, just like with 9/11, after a while it gets complacent, right? Like people forget about it. And so we want to make sure that people still remember what happened and how many lives were lost, and really what it brought the community together of Joplin.
It gives me goosebumps because we're privileged and we're blessed. And I think for some people this might be a healing process for them, and for some, like my grandsons, a learning it's history. And here we are right here at the Flick in Anderson getting to see it. And for some, it might be bittersweet.
The film was written and directed by Gregory Fish, who also made Steadfast, the story of the Joplin tornado. The notorious Bloody Bender family reportedly lived in Labette County, Kansas during the 1870s. The family is accused of the murders of 10 different people. Now, their story has only been passed down generation to generation by word of mouth and a few article clippings. However, students from Kansas University are now trying to literally dig up evidence regarding the Bender family. KOAM's Anthony Saviello has more.
Well, this is why I bought the property. I bought it for this reason here, plus it's an investment second, but primary to uncover the secrets. And KU's been wonderful to work with. They have the talent and the people and the contacts to uncover the mysteries that we're trying to seek.
Bob Miller owns this 160-acre piece of land in Labette County, a piece of land that could hold an endless amount of stories regarding the infamous Bloody Bender family. He's employed the help of anthropology students at Kansas University to uncover this land's hidden truths.
I would love to find the foundation of the cabin. That is like my goal. Perhaps we won't, and that's okay. If we find any proof that this was actually, where they were, or at least where some of it happened, it would be awesome.
These students have just begun a 10-day archaeological dig, each pair carefully analyzing everything they pull from the ground.
Material that we're finding is actually things that were in the past. It's not somebody telling somebody that this is what happened in the past. And so we're hoping to take those objects and tell a story from them, and tell a story that's then now based in the reality of what was happening. So really kind of trying to ground truth a lot of the stories that were happening, and tell people what their lives were like and what the objects we're finding were like at the same time.
Under the guidance of Lauren Norman, these students are getting hands-on in the field training, while also learning the history of the area.
This is a really exciting way to tell the community what we're finding and to really illuminate the time that the people were here, and the awful things that happened here, is to kind of tie it really back to the material objects that we're finding.
The team will continue throughout the week to excavate and discover 1 square meter at a time.
Find something meaningful and something that confirms last season. So whatever we saw on our data from last season, I would like to see something come out of it.
Reporting in Labette County, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
Now, Norman says she would like to see excavation continue on in the years to come. The Kansas University Anthropology Department has a survey planned for next month to discover more potential dig sites. Area police agencies joined forces today for the annual Law Enforcement Torch Run for Special Olympics. The torch is moving across various regions of Missouri towards Columbia for the 2024 State Summer Games. The torch passed by 3 local schools where kids cheered them on. Joplin PD passed the torch near the limits of Webb City and then onto the Carthage Police Department. On My Own Center for Independent Living in Nevada, Missouri hosted its annual Disability Awareness Lunch fundraiser today. Last year, the organization sold 304 plates. This year, its goal was 350. Funds raised by the organization go to support aging seniors, youth scholarships, ramps, and home modifications, community resources, and so much more.
One of them is called Age My Way, which is services for seniors that may fall through the cracks. Maybe they don't have Medicaid or they don't have veteran services or things like that. So we, through the foundation, are able to fund some in-home care for them.
For $10, diners could get a barbecue sandwich, chips, cookie, pickle, and a bottle of water, and help a good cause. Coming up, as students transition from school to summer, we'll have tips to make that change a little more smooth. Researchers with NYU, MIT, and Harvard tracked the cellular response of several recent transplants between people and other animal species in hopes of avoiding future organ rejection. They found genetically modified pig kidneys are not immediately rejected by the body, but strong reactions from human immune cells could lead to failure over time. Scientists hope these details will lead to better engineered pig organs for future transplants. As the school year begins to wind down, experts say it's not uncommon for some children to face challenges when it comes to that transition. Mandy Gaither has more on what parents can do to help students settle into summer.
From the classroom to the living room, students will go from being dialed in to letting loose.
Transitions can be challenging, and we want to normalize that. Sometimes we feel like we're doing something wrong, but often it's just that we're going through something hard and you're having a normal response to that.
Jody Baumstein with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta's Strong for Life program says parents can help. First, get ahead of the change by talking about expectations. What do you expect from them this summer? Next, keep an open dialogue. Some may be sad to leave friends, while others may be excited about summer. They can feel more than one emotion, so talk to them.
And it doesn't always just have to be a conversation where you're sitting across from each other. In fact, that can feel intimidating. So maybe it's while you're driving somewhere or you're playing a game, you're just kind of checking in and asking how they're feeling without telling them or putting your own feelings onto them.
Baumstein says maintaining routines can also help with transitions. That means keeping the same bed and wake times and meal times. Finally, she says kids will learn how to navigate change by watching adults.
We're role modeling. That language is important, and having that growth mindset is really powerful for ourselves and also for kids as they're growing and developing their own resilience.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Baumstein says learning how to deal with feelings around change and transition is important and something children will carry with them into adulthood. Well, Doug is next with a complete look at your forecast. And later, Fort Scott High School comes together for a send-off for the softball team as they head to state.
Well, of course, we had some scattered showers and thunderstorms late morning into the early afternoon, but overall not a bad day for us today. But the allergies have been high on a scale of 1 to 12. Today was a 10.3, so it was high, moderate high tomorrow with allergies sitting at a 7.4. So if you're an allergy sufferer, you're going to be suffering as we go through the next couple days. Nice shot of our Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex tower cam. We are looking northeast through downtown. It looks pretty good right now. There's not a whole bunch going on. We have a light northeasterly wind. Temperatures are sitting into the mid 60s. We had some showers and thunderstorms out there earlier. Those are all gone, but you can see a few additional ones starting to pop up near Branson. So we are going to get a few scattered showers and thunderstorms that kind of migrate north later on tonight. Nothing too strong, nothing severe across the region, which is good news. All the bigger storms have kind of stayed down to our south throughout the overnight hours for us tonight. Here's our next wave pulling out. This will start to affect us as we get into tomorrow night, but it's not going to have a lot of moisture. We are going to get some scattered thunderstorms late tomorrow and then a few more on Friday morning, but it doesn't look like a big deal. We do have a level 2 out of 5 severe risk, but here's the key here. Only about 1 or 2 storms are going to pop up. It's just those 1 or 2 storms that pop up could go strong to severe late tomorrow evening. 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. I'm going to keep all the threats low because I don't think we're really going to have much of anything that gets going for us on Thursday. Saturday is a different story. All right, scattered showers and thunderstorms popping up later on tonight, especially along and south of the I-44 corridor, rotating out by morning. Temps sitting 60 to about 62. Few hit and miss showers through the morning hours, and then most of the afternoon looks pretty good. High temps near 80. Now, as we go through tomorrow evening, 1 or 2 little storms will pop up. Could affect our western counties, but I think most of us end up staying dry until we go into Friday morning. As a cold front slides in, we'll get scattered showers and thunderstorms here 6 a.m. on Friday, pushing through during the morning hours and then out of here by the time we get into Friday afternoon. All right, Thursday day planner 63 to start, 75 by noon. High temp of 81 degrees, but we do have a hot spot moving in Saturday. Pretty good threat for strong to severe thunderstorms, especially from Wichita to Oklahoma City, Tulsa, up toward Joplin by the time we get into Saturday evening. So we'll have to keep our eyes on that. We'll talk a little bit more about that in our second half hour. 81 tomorrow, 79 on Friday. Let's go 87, possible alert day with that severe threat on Saturday. Sunday and Monday looking pretty good right now.
We'll definitely be keeping our eye on that.
You bet.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Doug. Well, coming up, we'll hear how some four-staters feel about the rising cost of fast food. Joplin's home for independent and local film will dim its lights after 6 years. Bookhouse Cinema has decided to close its doors on June 9th. The owners say while the property is for sale, they will maintain normal operating hours until the closing day. They go on to say they have a plan to, quote, provide Joplin with a cinema-focused space in the very near future, end quote. According to a recent finance study, the average menu prices for fast food are up more than 39% since 2014. KOAM's Amber Jenkins learned how the inflation is affecting area families.
Finance Buzz's recent chart of fast food inflation documents multiple fast food chains' prices since 2014. All the chains on the chart increased prices by at least 39%. According to the study, McDonald's menu prices have the largest increase, up 100% since 2014. Some Pittsburgh residents say it's cheaper to eat at a traditional restaurant rather than a fast food chain.
A lot of the fast food places have gotten so expensive that you can go somewhere else where they prepare the food fresh and pay the same or even less.
An economist professor at Pittsburgh State University says inflation affects blue-collar workers the most.
When the inflation reduces the purchasing power of our wages, that is, of course, not a good thing. The standard of living declines, but of course, it doesn't decline evenly. The people that are mostly affected are blue-collar, low-income workers.
Most of the expenses on blue-collar workers' budgets are prime targets for inflation.
Most of their income, or proportionally most of their income, on food and housing and electricity and gasoline to go to work, they are going to be hit the most.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
And you can find out more details about Finance Buzz's study on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. President Joe Biden has canceled another $7.7 billion of student loan debt. This latest round of relief impacts 54,000 borrowers enrolled in the White House's Saving on a Valuable Education or SAVE plan. They received $613 million in relief. Nearly 67,000 teachers, nurses, or other public sector workers also saw $5.2 billion forgiven through the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. The Skill Resource Center hosts a fundraising dinner. We're going to check out all it had to offer next. Folks in Columbus, Kansas today were able to get a hamburger while supporting the efforts of the Skill Resource Center. The center hosted its Burgers on the Patio event with the help of Columbus firefighters grilling the burgers. All the money raised from the event supports Skill and KSDS Assistance Dogs Incorporated, which pairs people with disabilities with service dogs.
Skill, and we help disabled people and elderly people get direct support workers in their home to assist them in their everyday life.
There was also prize drawings and live music. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports is coming your way. Lawmakers debate inviting Israel's prime minister to Washington to address Congress. Plus, Iowa residents start recovery efforts after a wave of deadly tornadoes sweep through.
You're watching the 4 states' most watched news.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. The Oklahoma Highway Patrol says a trooper from Miami is fired after he was charged with sex crimes. Court documents say Trooper Jackie Lee Reinhardt pulled over a semi-truck driver for speeding on I-44 near Big Cabin in Craig County. They say Reinhardt forced sexual acts on the driver. Reinhardt is charged with sexual battery and forcible sodomy. After the charges were filed, the Highway Patrol released a statement saying it terminated Reinhardt's employment. Top congressional leaders are discussing an invitation to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to address Congress. A move that's controversial to some, but one that would show support to the embattled leader and his country in the face of growing global criticism. Fox News correspondent Rebecca Castor has the latest from Washington.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu facing growing pressure this week after prosecutors at the International Criminal Court requested arrest warrants for him over alleged war crimes in Gaza, a move strongly denounced by President Biden. And now congressional leaders want to show their support by inviting Netanyahu to Capitol Hill.
It's important that we support the Jewish state of Israel, and having the Prime Minister come and address a joint session of Congress, I think would be well received by most Americans.
But not all lawmakers, particularly some Democrats, are on board.
I don't think that we should see support for it whatsoever. Our responsibility is not to cheer on the continued conflict here. Our job is to bring it to a resolution.
But Netanyahu has more pressing concerns than the potential arrest warrants. Ireland, Norway, and Spain announced they'll formally recognize Palestine as its own state, a major diplomatic blow for Israel.
This evil cannot be given a state. This would be a terrorist state.
Those European nations see statehood for Palestine as a way to end the war. But the U.S. has no plans to follow suit.
President Biden, as I just said, has been on the record supporting a two-state solution. He has been equally emphatic on the record that that two-state solution should be brought about through direct negotiations through the parties, not through unilateral recognition.
Prime Minister Netanyahu has not told U.S. leaders whether he would accept an invitation to address Congress. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer announced today the Senate vote on a bill that protects access to contraception nationwide. The move is meant to put lawmakers on the record about where they stand on the issue. This comes after former President Donald Trump said he may consider restricting access. The former president soon walked back the comment on social media, saying he will never advocate for restricting birth control or contraceptives. Severe weather and deadly tornadoes continue ripping across the country. Sadness and heartache swept over Iowa yesterday after twisters caused intense damage. Fox News' Chris DeMeo reports on the latest as recovery efforts intensify.
The trail of devastation is extensive across storm-battered Iowa after severe weather spawned several tornadoes throughout Tuesday. Wow! Law enforcement confirming multiple deaths and injuries in the hard-hit town of Greenfield, where a powerful twister decimated homes and businesses, toppled trees, and knocked out power as residents ran for cover. Many are now trying to salvage whatever belongings weren't destroyed or blown away.
If there are any family members or friends that are unable to reach any loved ones, we do encourage people to reach out to our Iowa Department of Public Safety Storm Lake State Radio Communications Center.
Meanwhile, a little further south near the town of Prescott, an apparent tornado is being blamed for demolishing several 250-foot tall wind turbines. These storms come after much of the mid and southwest have already been impacted by large weather events in recent weeks. But with the country still in the middle of tornado season, experts warn many people aren't in the clear yet.
Working with your family or your friends to know where is that spot you're going to go when a warning is issued. Think about it now before you have to act on it.
But as technology evolves, Andrew Winters of the University of Colorado Boulder says many people aren't relying on traditional ways of getting their storm warnings. Besides encouraging people to follow local and national weather accounts on social media, Winters says forecasters need to also advance their methods of communication.
So that means including warnings and watches in multiple languages.
Chris DeMeo, Fox News.
A bit later, having fun in the water while inside.
No shoes, no shirt, no sun, no problem. I'm Madison Allworth at the Great Wolf Lodge. Coming up, I'll tell you all about this indoor water park, what makes it so popular, and how they are using AI to open up new locations.
Well, of course, we had some scattered showers, even a few thunderstorms out there for us today, but overall not a bad day. High temps mainly into the mid-70s. It looks good out there right now. Nice shot of our Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex tower cam. We are looking downtown Joplin off toward the north and to the east. Mid-60s right now. We'll drop back near 60 later on tonight. We've had a couple little guys that popped up near Springfield, but I think we'll get some showers that will pop up, especially along and south of I-44 as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight. Nothing too strong, nothing severe, but all the big severe weather tonight has been down across parts of Texas over the past several hours. Here's our next little wave that's kicking out. This will affect us tomorrow night and then heading into Friday as well. We do have a low severe threat tomorrow. It's a level 2 out of 5, and this is mainly for our western counties. And only 1 or 2 storms could pop up, but if they do, they could be strong to possibly severe. I'm not very concerned about this. 4 p.m. to 9 p.m., so I'm going to keep all of the threats on the low side. All right, let's walk through time. Scattered showers, few little thunderstorms, mainly along and south of I-44 through the night, out of here by morning. Here's 6 a.m. As we go through the morning hours, we warm through the 60s into the mid-70s. Couple little spotty showers. Not a big deal. By the afternoon, mainly dry, high temps near 80. Then we'll focus our attention out west as 1 or 2 storms may try to get in late tomorrow evening, but I think most of you are going to be dry. The better chance for thunderstorms is going to roll in Friday morning, here 6 a.m. Some of those could be strong, most likely not severe, but we'll get scattered thunderstorms that drive through during the morning hours on Friday. Then we get a little bit of a break, and then severe threat returns by Saturday. 63 in the morning, 75 by noon, high temp of 81 degrees. All right, hot spot for Saturday. Really Wichita to Oak City, Tulsa, Fort Smith, all the way up to Joplin for strong to severe thunderstorms. And this is going to be as we get into Saturday evening. So let's take a look at it. Most of Saturday is going to be okay. If you're heading to some of the area lakes, it's really after about 7, 8 p.m. we need to start to focus as thunderstorms will fire out to our west, drive in Saturday night pretty quickly, push right off toward the east, and then most likely on Sunday we're going to be dry as any severe weather is going to be off to our south and to our east. And Memorial Day itself is looking pretty good as well. All right, 81 tomorrow, 79 on Friday. We're going to make Saturday an alert day just due to that severe weather threat. And then Sunday and Monday shaping up pretty good.
All right. Well, we'll keep an eye on this weekend for sure.
Absolutely.
It's nice that our Memorial, a big chunk of our Memorial weekend
overall
looks like it's going to turn out to be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll take that. Thank you, Doug.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, coming up in sports, Fort Scott High School softball heads to the 4A state tournament. Plus, the Joplin Outlaws make their final preparations for the 2024 season. John Dales has those stories and more up next.
High school baseball and softball state tournaments begin tomorrow in Kansas. 6 of our local schools are participating, including Fort Scott softball. The Tigers are the 5 seed in the 4A state tournament bracket. They face Circle in the quarterfinals tomorrow at 1 p.m. It's their second consecutive trip to state. Now, Fort Scott has won 9 of its last 10 games entering state tournament play, so the Tigers are confident on their way to Salina.
It is a great feeling having the community to back us up, and just having that support, I think, is what pushes us to be good. You know, everyone on this team has a lot of determination, and we want to win, and we'll find a way to do that.
These kids, I mean, if you look at the group as a whole, they've been in multiple sports. I mean, they've been to state in multiple sports. I mean, they are accomplished athletes. They do very well, and they're just a great group of kids.
A new era of Joplin Outlaws baseball begins tomorrow evening. The team begins its 2024 season and first as a member of the Mid-American League on the road in Sherman, Texas. The Outlaws play 6 road games over the next 7 days in Sherman, also in Fort Smith, Arkansas. Then Joplin plays its first home game of the season. That's a week from tomorrow against Sherman at Joe Becker Stadium. This year's team is excited to perform for the baseball fans in Joplin.
We have some other pro guys coming in. We got a guy from Japan. So it opens up the doors to raise the level of competition than the community's probably seen over the past few years, and also gives some very deserving guys that maybe slipped through the cracks with organizations or got released looking for a second shake, provides them an opportunity to still chase the dream, get seen, and maybe get picked back up.
Entering today, the Cardinals and Royals have won 8 of their last 9 games. Both of them try to stay hot in series finales this afternoon. Second game of the day for the Cardinals against the Orioles. They already won the first. In this one, Redbirds trailing 3-0 in the third inning. You saw manager Ollie Barmal mouthing off to the umpire. Well, he ends up getting ejected for arguing balls and strikes. After getting ejected, Barmal gets his money's worth, voicing his displeasure with the umpires. Now, after a rain delay, Cardinals would come back though. Bottom 6, down 3-1. Brendan Donovan lines a double into the gap. 2 runs are going to come in to score to tie the game. Now the Orioles try and get Donovan over at third, but that throw gets away, so he's going to slide in safely at home. A Little League home run for Donovan. Cardinals now lead the game 4-3. To the top of the 9th, 2-run Cardinal lead. Nobody out, 2 runners on. Lars Nootbaar makes an incredible leaping catch in the outfield. He turns around, fires a strike over to first. That's a double play, and the Cardinals beat the Orioles twice today. It's the first time in 2 years that Baltimore gets swept. St. Louis has now won 5 of its last 6 games. Back locally here as we're getting towards the end of the high school softball and baseball season. Also, though, tough to see them end their season, but we have, like we mentioned, the Joplin Outlaws just starting up, the Nevada Griffins also in the Mink League. So with one season coming to an end, another one's right about to start.
A lot of Cardinal and Royal baseball, too. So.
Yeah, both of them playing very well right now, too.
Exciting. Good time of year. We'll be back with more news after this. Indoor water parks are becoming the new vacation hotspot. Fox Business correspondent Madison Allworth is in Pennsylvania with more on what indoor resorts have to offer.
We are here at the Great Wolf Lodge, where it is always a clear sky and warm 84 degrees. These spots, they are so popular. They have 20 locations across the U.S. with plans to open 3 new locations. Once that happens, by next year, 90% of the American population will be within a 4-hour drive of one of their locations.
As a parent of young children, I know that there's nothing worse than spending a bunch of money on expensive air travel, the complicated logistics of getting the family there, only to find that maybe Mother Nature doesn't cooperate, or you get the dreaded I'm bored on vacation. So here at Great Wolf, families never have to worry about that. They come to us for a comfortable, carefree escape where they can truly spend time together, bonding and spending quality time together as a family.
You know, we've talked to visitors who say they love to come year-round. We met a family with a special needs son who says this is their go-to vacation spot.
Everything under one roof. Doesn't matter what the weather is outside. There's so much to do inside.
I got to take a spin myself. I took a ride down Wolf's Tail, which has a 2-story drop right off the top. Now, the key demographic here that they're targeting is 2 to 12-year-olds. I'm not in that age group, and I still had so much fun. Across the U.S., Great Wolf Lodge sees 13 million visitors each year, and they expect to add more with their expansion. In the Poconos, I'm Madison Allworth, Fox Business.
Coming up, we'll check out the new movies hitting theaters and streaming services this week. An action-packed saga continues. A famous feline brings a movie adventure and more. Here's a look at new releases this week with Fox's Ashley Dvorkin.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
Anya Taylor-Joy leads the action-packed prequel Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. The story follows Furiosa taking on the warlord Dementis, played by Chris Hemsworth, as she battles through the wasteland to make her way home. Chris Pratt voices that lasagna-loving and Monday-hating cat in the Garfield movie, an adventure which reunites the famous feline with his long-lost father, voiced by Samuel L. Jackson.
George shall ever be known as Keeper.
Keeper the names. Based on a true story, The Keeper is about an Army veteran raising awareness of military member suicides by hiking the full Appalachian Trail while carrying 363 name tapes from military members who committed suicide.
She's teaching me that there's more to life than what you see.
Also inspired by real life is Sight, about a Chinese immigrant who becomes a world-renowned eye surgeon in the U.S., trying to restore the sight of a blind orphan.
Okay, Daniel Day.
In select theaters, then streaming on Netflix June 7th, is Richard Linklater's comedic thriller Hitman, co-written by and starring Glenn Powell as a professor and fake hitman who meets his match in a new client.
We don't have much time.
Netflix also has Atlas with Jennifer Lopez as a data analyst with a distrust of AI, who has to team up with the tech on a mission to capture a renegade robot.
The Beach Boys.
Disney Plus adds The Beach Boys, a documentary telling the story of the band from start through stardom, with never-before-seen footage and new interviews. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
Definitely a lot of good options there. That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of animals at the Brookfield Zoo enjoying some cicada treats. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.